All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Yahweh is the true name of the Heavenly Father, who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahweh Shai is the true name of the only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus. I'd also like to give double honors to my elders, bishops, and apostles of Great Millstone that do well. And I would like to say peace and salutations to the Lord's elect, to the hopeful elect in 1/3, and Adon Ratazah. This lesson will be edifying as well as exhorting to the sincere sheep of Yahweh Bashem El Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. And Tawada, Yahweh Bashem El Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash, for giving me the inspiration to do this lesson. And as the title reads, what has Christianity done for Black and brown people? Now, I may keep the title. As it says, even though us within the fold, within the know, okay, we are not, Black or just brown people. But this is a byword that is used to sum us up as a nation of people, not knowing that we are the Israelites. All right. This is the same way that you call yourself Black. It allows Esau, Edom to self-identify as so-called white. All right. So I may keep the title as it stands, but, we are not Black people. Okay. We're different shades of brown, actually. And we're also the Israelites. Okay. If your line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which ultimately the Spirit bears witness of that. So even, just because you don't have a Black or brown pigment, that does not necessarily negate the fact that you yourself can be an Israelite as well. But outside of that, I was just watching this video real quick. Let me share it with you. Let me go right here. Okay, so, and then let's go. Oh, I didn't even share my screen. Look at that. All right, so let's share the screen. Get this. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, now right here. All right, so I was checking this out. You see I'm about 5 minutes in. It's a video done by this individual who self-identifies as a man of God. Okay, this guy right here, whether your personal opinions about him, this individual is a fraud. All right, is a demon, is an agent for Satan ultimately. And if you are carrying yourself with emotion, you're not going to be able to see that. Matter of fact, a precept just came to mind. Let me go right here. Let's grab it real quick. Okay, at the end of the day, because I really want to get on this angle of Christianity, and I also pulled up some information. I want to share it with you, but this is First John. Go right here real quick. Let's see what's going on with this. Uh-oh. Okay, it's loading. I hope my Wi-Fi is straight. Let me see. Can I go here? Okay. Let's try this. Let's go to 1 John 4. I got to do something with this computer. 1 John 4:1. Let's see if it clicks. Okay, it's loading. Bear with me. Okay, here we go. There we go. There it is. 1 John 4:1. It says, beloved. Okay, beloved. All right. Believe not every spirit. All right. Now, these spirits, okay, are also equated to these religions. Believe not every religion. Believe not everyone with the Bible. Believe not everyone that comes up saying brother or sister. Okay. Believe not every spirit. See, we over here, all right, through the Holy Spirit, we use the Bible as a guidebook, as instructions and how we conduct ourselves, being inspired by the Spirit as well. Okay, but this is what we don't have on the other side of the coin with the rest of the world and what they believe they're doing for God and Christianity. This is nothing more than white Eurocentric Christianity that they're preaching. And I'm going to go into it. I'm just building my foundation right now. Okay, so let's go back. It says, beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits. Sister came up to camp. We're going to try you. What name do you call on? Who do you learn from? Where'd you come from? How'd you find us? There's nothing wrong with us asking questions as well. Okay. Because the gates of hell are not going to be able to prevail against this, but we are up against that. Okay. We're up against principalities. We're up against wickedness in high places. So this is us protecting the ministry, if you will. It says, but try the spirits, whether they are of the Most High, because many false prophets are gone out into the world. So now you take this and you apply this on a day-to-day, and especially with individuals that come up like this, and they come up in this notion of they mean well and we're here to help. Well, my question is, what has Christianity done for Jake? What has white Eurocentric Christianity done for so-called black and brown people? Okay, now I'm going to share this with you. Now watch this. Let me show you something. All right. So I've done this before. I said, what is white Eurocentric Christianity? White Eurocentric Christianity, which that's the Christianity of America. Okay. That's what American Christian is today. The belief, the standpoint, where it stems from, even in the black church. So any Jake out here that just thinks and feels all fuzzy and my pastor and my preacher, no. All right. They're all bought and paid for. Okay. Now, can you have some actually sincere Jakes that have a zeal, but not according to knowledge? Absolutely. All right. But you have to come to the truth of the understanding that we are the Israelites, and it's not just God and Jesus and anybody can be saved. That's not even found in the Bible. All right. Now, you can have a scripture that you believe states that for your doctrine, but that doesn't make it true either. It says, because when you even just look, let me just say, when you even look at the Bible, let's just put the emotions to the side, shut up and think for a second critically. When you put your emotions to the side in the drunken doctrine of force feeding you from Esau, and you take that away and you actually look at the Bible, it's all centered and based around the Israelites being delivered, gathered, given laws, given a covenant, being judged for their rebellion, being scattered, and then having a savior to bring them back even up into this day. Okay, the Bible is based around the records of the Israelites and their relationship with heathen nations round about them. All right. So it says the Bible's not even in a book it's not even an American book. Okay, it's from what you call the so-called Middle East. All right, which that's a term that they created too. It says white Eurocentric Christianity refers to a perspective within Christianity that is predominantly associated with and often perceived as originating from European or white cultures and societies. Exactly. When you look at Christian movie, look, let's just do a quick, okay? Let's just do a quick thing. Let's just put Christian movies, okay? Let's put Christian movies. Let's see what comes. There you go, okay? Let's see. Let's go right here. All right. So when you look up Christian movies, well, let me see. Okay, Christian inspired. Okay, let's see what we got here. All right. This might be new. I never heard of that. Let's see. Let's put should we put Bible movies? Christian Bible movie. That'd be better. Bible movies. Let's see what comes up. There you go. Okay. When you look up Christian Bible movies, it's what 99% of the time Edomites. Okay. And it's not even always backed biblically. All right. Like this movie, Noah was completely off. All right. Look. Okay. And as far as they'll go is so-called like tan, or light Middle East. Okay. See, this is white Eurocentric Christianity. All right. Right here. Okay. See, this is the example. And this is what we grew up off of. All right. You out there, you that identify as a black person, a Spanish person of Latin descent or African-American descent, just like myself. Okay. My father's so-called black too. All right. I went to Sunday church. Even in a black church, we all identified and associated who you call God and Jesus as Edomites, meaning so-called white people, because they're not white. See this back of the screen? This is white. Okay. This actually, let me get some precepts. I'm talking too much. Look, this is that covering cast that the scriptures talk about, Isaiah 25:7. And he will destroy in this mountain, this government, the face of the covering cast. And this is an example of the covering cast right here. Okay. White skin, blue eyes, this look. This is a covering cast. This is people today don't even have, for the most part, a self-identifying nationality based off the Bible, but you have people in a land that's recorded in the Bible, claiming to be a nation in the Bible, but everyone else doesn't have a nation going back to the Bible. Come on. You got to actually think for a second. Just think for a second. All right. And actually, I'll prove something to you. Did you know in the Bible it says that there are bastards dwelling in the promised land right now? So what does that tell you? Okay, now let's go to this. Ezekiel 36, real quick. Let me get this. This is Ezekiel 36 and 6. And it says, let me see here. Right here, 5. It says, therefore, thus saith the Lord power, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen and against all Idumea, which have appointed my land into their possession, with the joy of all their heart, with despiteful minds to cast it out for a prey. And this is why they have every June, which it got canceled this year. So call Halal Abanawa Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, man. And we were praying for that too. That Mo Fest got canceled. So here it is. These people are claiming to be the people while being in the land of the people. And then not only that, but desecrating it, doing abominable works in the land as if they're mocking the Most High, who's supposed to be their God, as they say. All right, which they're not. They're Edomites. They're Amalek. Okay. So anyways, going back to my initial point, there you go. This is the covering cast. Okay, which we'll finish that. It says, it says, and he, Isaiah 25 and 7, and he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast. All right, those so-called nations, you're white, I'm black, you're red, you're brown, you're yellow, right? Although those color which someone created that, I can't remember his name. It's easy Google. It says of the covering cast over all people. So in our kingdom, so-called Chinese people will be known to be the Moabites. So-called Japanese will known to be the Ammonites. So-called white people will be known to be the Edomites. The so-called black and brown people whose line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob will be known as Israelites, and so on and so on. All right. It says over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. So this is why people are in a gross darkness right now. And this is why people accept white Eurocentric Christianity. They accept it because they identify Esau as God, because it also tells you that in Thessalonians, he sets himself up. Now, I really want to get to my initial point, but I can only give you what's being given to me. So, hey, call law Yabashim Shai. At the end of the day, let me see real quick. Yep. Okay. Look, let me read this. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 4. It says, let's start at 3. It says, let no man deceive you by any means. This is a man that deceives. This is an individual who has been deceived. And now they're going around trying to deceive others. They've already did that in the beginning. Look, you already did this when you came over here as the conquistadors, when you came over here so-called on your pilgrimage, escaping religious persecution, but you also came with slaves. Make that make sense. See, we have the receipts. We have history. We have a spiritual brain now where we don't have to just listen to the rhetoric and lies and deceptions that you are pushing and preaching, thinking that it will work again. No. That was only for a short period of time. So Esau doesn't have the power anymore to deceive you with the Bible, to deceive you with Christianity, to deceive you with lies and emotions. That ain't working no more. It ain't working no more because we're at the end now. Okay. This is Ezekiel, what's that? 37. All right. The valley of the dry bones are not dry no more. We are arisen. Okay, we are risen, like this movie they got right here. Where is it? I just seen it. Risen, which this wasn't a bad movie. It's not back biblically, but I watched it when I first came in. They didn't say, I think they called him Yeshua or something. So, Esau, even when he's even within lies, he'll give more lies to now seem like he's so-called telling the truth. This guy is the father of lies, man. He can't help it. That's his spirit. That's his nature. Okay. Let's go back. It says, let no man deceive you by any means. Okay. And that's exactly what Esau's doing. So, and he's done it through the name of Christianity, which is actually called white Eurocentric Christianity. And I just want to read this again. It says, perceived as originating from Europeans or white cultures and societies, it involves a worldview that elevates Western, particularly European Christian traditions and interpretations as the standard or superior form of Christianity. See, so he's going around claiming that what he teaches is superior to our knowledge. And that's right there. The main thing that I see that he uses as an angle is this burden of proof. So me and my spirit, which the Lord has given me, my whole thing is, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let's talk about you real quick. Now, let me show you something I did here. So all I did was put in Christian pastor arrested. That's all I put in. You can see it yourself. I'm not here to lie to you. Okay. I put Christian pastor arrested and just look, not even 6 days ago. But nobody, they never talk about their, remember Yahushua, who they call Jesus. See, they don't apply these scriptures, but they want it, but they expect you, they hold you to this standard that they don't even keep. Even Apostle Paul said, he that preached the gospel must live it. Let me cut you real quick. He that preach, watch, which we do. All right. Preach the gospel, must live. You got to live the gospel. Okay. And they ain't doing that. Here it is. 1 Corinthians 9:14, KJ21. Even so has the Lord ordained that those who preach the gospel should live from the gospel. So are they doing that? But then they'll come out and look at you in this accusatory manner, as if they don't have a beam in their own eye that they need to address. All right. So before you even start fixing your face to say anything about Hebrew Israelites, you have to address your own religion that has been causing murder, slander, rape, robbery, onslaught for hundreds of years. Okay. Hundreds of years. Look, former youth pastor arrested after AS. Another former youth. Is this the same place? Let me see. Okay. So that's the same place. Former Baltimore police arrest pastor abusing 6 teens, man. Okay, let's see what else we got. Former youth, might be the same thing. Former North Texas pastor sentenced to more than 24, I'm not sure if it's months or years. What's up with all this sex, man? Former youth pastor, sex victory, blah, blah, blah. Let me see what else. Former pastor. You see that? And this is just page 1, okay? This is just page 1, all right? This is just page 1. Okay, look, the usual suspect, right? Let me see. Look at this sicko. Look at these sickos, man. But do you see them say anything? Look, of course, you got Jacob in there. Look, Christian pastor threatened. I'm not really worried about that. Anyways, you know what I'm getting at, but I have to make these statements for anybody that may be new, maybe inquiring, maybe of the hopeful elect, because at the end of the day, this is only about the elect. Because one statement he made through his deception is he was like, are you worried? Are you worried? See, you got to understand the tactics of a devil, okay? And I can easily see through his tactics, all right? What he does is he likes to speak when you're going to the scriptures, so that's a red flag. And then he likes to pull you into this isolated island of opinion when you're trying to edify. So he wants to know your personal opinion when we are here to bring what the scriptures say out, not what we got to say. We're not here to be pleasers of men. Let me get that too. I'll make sure I'm not speaking too much. All right, let's go to this. I just like to always bring a precept out in the midst of the speech, because that's what it's about at the end of the day, the word. Galatians 1:10, for do I now persuade men or the Most High, or do I seek to please men? For if I yet pleased men, I should not be a servant of Hamashiach. You see? So this gospel, okay, is about the edification through the inspiration of Yahweh Shem Shai Bashem Rakakodash, not our own accord. So now that I got that out the way, let me show you this. So check this out. I said, how has the religion of white Eurocentric Christianity affected black and brown people? Hence why I titled it, What Has Christianity Done for Black and Brown People? Now, we know we're not black. We are shades of brown, but we are also more than a color. But here in Babel, confusion, you now have the pleasure, I'm being sarcastic, you have the pleasure now to identify as black or just brown, because he gets to identify as what? White. Okay, because now he portrays himself under the covering cast as the angel of light. I'm just an angel of light. I just want to bring you to Jesus. What, the good ship Jesus? What Jesus you talking about? Let me see real quick. 2 Corinthians 2:11. I think there's let me also get the one. Let me read this. 2 Corinthians 2:11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And Christianity is an old overused device that he's used for a very long time that still has portions of our people stuck on that emotional ride to destruction. Okay, but let me put this in real quick. going into false apostles. See, one thing I'm noticing is there's a lot of precepts in here that Christians do not even use themselves in their so-called walk towards the Lord. But when you actually look at it, these scriptures, these are tenets that Christians are not even holding themselves. So there is us defending the gospel is now saying, wait a minute, you prove it. We don't have nothing to prove to you, okay? We've been beaten, raped, murdered, robbed, and now we are trying to serve God with the identity of this is our God because we are his people. So in actuality, Christians, shouldn't you be more happy that at least that we are looking to serve God in truth and sincerity instead of just being out here thugs on drugs, murdering, killing, being a stereotypical so-called black person after all these hardship and years that we have faced and dealt with in white America? Shouldn't you just be happy that we are cleaning up our act in the name of the Bible, in the name of God, the name of the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? Shouldn't you just be happy about that? See? There's something deeper there, and we know that, but I'm just making these statements for edification's sake. 2 Corinthians 11:14, and no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. Here it is. They have been getting away with this so-called innocent-looking, white-skinned identifying, I'm just here to help identity, and it's falling fast. People are not being tricked. Now, black women are still being tricked by it because Eve is simple. She's fickle, okay? But this is why the Lord said the flock of my pasture are men, okay? These are men that identify as Israelites who Yahweh Bashemel Shai is inspiring to go out into the highways and hedges and preach the gospel, as it says in Matthew 24. Let's get that now real quick, and I'm going to show you what the chat said. I'll probably skim through it, but I like to ask it a good question. I'm going to tell you its response too. So let's go to Matthew 24, and this is also to cut Christianity. And this gospel, the same gospel we got to live by, the same gospel that Christians ain't living by. And here's a good example. Okay, see? So he promotes this in Hollywood, right? And then everyone believes it. They promote this in Hollywood, but in the real world, this is what they're doing. They're SAing people, okay? You fucking leave your children or your women around any Christian church, none of that, okay? Don't be letting your woman go there, your kids. No, man. They might not come home, okay? You got fucking snakes like this. Look at this. This is Satan who has transformed himself into an angel of light. All right, right here through that covering cast. So now people look at this and think that this guy is innocent, think that this guy will help them. He's a sexual deviant. All right, he's a sexual deviant. But this is what they bank off. Okay, they bank off Hollywood tree, which they would use to create wands out of it. Okay, not someone's Spanish name Juan, wands. All right. So let me keep going, man. Jeez. Matthew 24:14. And this gospel. All right. What gospel? The gospel that was for us, that freed us. Isaiah 61. And this gospel and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. Christians don't say that we're at the end, but guess what? Christianity has gone from one end of the world to the other, but the end still wasn't come under them. But now, since this gospel started in 1969, fulfilling prophecy about Bivens, Elijah coming back, okay, us finding out that we're Israelites being woken up in the valley of dry bones, in the valley of the shadow of death. Okay, now we're seeing all the signs that we've been waiting for, all right, in understanding and the doctrine of us being Hebrew Israelites, not the doctrine of white Eurocentric Christianity. See? So now that I said that, I'm still holding out Second Thess. Let me read this for you. So I said, how has the religion of white Eurocentric Christianity affected black and brown people? That's a deep and layered question. And the impact of Eurocentric Christianity on so-called black and brown people has been both harmful, and complex, with some empowering outcomes as well. Here's a balanced breakdown. Now, the only empowering outcome that white Eurocentric Christianity has done for us is allowed us to have access to the Bible, okay? Because remember, there was a time, let me actually, oh my goodness, I can't let this go. There was a time they did not let us read or write, okay? These people right here, all right? Look, their ancestors, okay? There was a time, I'm getting excited, man. All right, let me relax. There was a time right here in what you know as America where we were not allowed to read or write. What the fuck is that? And yeah, I said the F word, okay? Damn. Then you got people. Oh my God, I sent a comment the other day. I was listening to everything until you said, until you swear. Shut up. People are. I'm sorry. Let me refrain myself. But these people, just the Lord's not dealing with you. Okay. So let's do this. Why were slaves? I'm just putting in slaves not allowed to read or write. That shit's pissing me off just thinking about it. And see, we're in Rochester, New York, where Frederick Douglass was. Now, I believe they say his father was an Edomite, and we'll find out in the kingdom. Okay, we'll find out in the kingdom who's an Israelite and who's not. Enslaved people were prohibited. You were prohibited to read and write, man. That's why, and I'm saying to myself first, that's why I'm always praying to read more. I know studies are much weirdness of flesh, but I'm telling you, brothers, hey, just read a chapter, man. Okay, just read a chapter, find something, just keep yourself immersed in the scriptures and studying. I know we're in Babylon. Okay. I know that the work in Egypt and, our time is taken up, but don't allow that to be the fundamental excuse for you not reading your Bible, your history. Okay. Your understanding. There was a time where we couldn't read or write, man. All right. It says, excuse me, get back on track. It says enslaved people were prohibited from learning to read and write primarily due to the fear that literacy would empower them to challenge the institution of slavery. And here it is. Here it is. This is just right here. This is why you didn't want us to read or write, you pieces of shit. I'm saying it like that. Okay. And I have the right to, because I'm in America and I have the freedom of speech. All right. Now let me get you some in Revelations 11. Fucking demons. I mean, freaking. All right, let's go to Revelations 11 and 8. Let's read this down real quick. Revelations 11:8. And their dead bodies, our dead bodies, spiritually dead. He that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. They want you to be dead. Vocab wants you to be dead. The elites want you to be dead. Dead in the brain, dead in the body, dead in the mind. They want you dead. Okay, they want to kill the brain and keep the body. They want to kill your brain and keep your body. And then they have an issue that now you have a brain that controls this sinful flesh of this body that we have. And they have a problem with that. That offends me. That offends me that you want me to be spiritually dead and dumb. And then they'll sit here and chuckle and laugh. No, I don't. We know this. Okay, we know our enemy. All right. See, we're the only ones keeping it real here. You're still trying to hold this false identity that you're an angel of light, but guess what? So is Satan. And we're looking at Satan right here. Here's another little upstart, okay, and his weak ass. And where's your shield squad at? Okay, because it's of men, it comes to naught. So you ain't doing nothing real, but this is just necessary evil, and we're just being inspired to defend the gospel. And if any Israelite that comes across this video and has a problem that we're defending the gospel, you need to fucking check your spirit, man, and you need to shut your mouth. Why don't you do a lesson? Why don't you do the work? All right. Don't be commenting on our videos, telling us what we need to do, and your ass is sitting in the stands. Shame on you, man. All right. I see why Elder Pastor Hart said there should be Israelite camps on every street corner, man. Okay. You should be out here teaching. Because look, vocab's out here. This overweight ass out here. Why ain't you out here? Get out there. Get out there and do the work. All right. Now let me get back to my points here. Look at this, man. They didn't allow us to read or write. Ain't that crazy? Okay, let's break this down. Revelations 11:8. And their dead bodies, us as Israelites. Remember when you were a Gentile and you were wilding and tripping, and now you look back and say, damn, oh my God. But that was because you were a Gentile. The Lord wasn't dealing with you. Okay, so don't allow your past mistakes or sins to weigh you down now. You're under grace. Okay. It says, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city. What is the great city? America, which is spiritually called Sodom. And we see why. Okay. That's why we're in the days of Lot as well as the days of Noah. And it says, and Egypt. Why is this great city also equated to Egypt? They'll chuckle and laugh at that. But here it is. It's because of us going into bondage and slavery, just like we did in Egypt. And I actually found this right down here. Let me see. I'm going to get into this. I should have been reading this, but I'm just going with the Spirit giving me right here. Look at this. Let me see. Right here. Look at this. Look what it said, Jake. It said liberation theology. This is why they didn't want you to read it right. Despite it used as a weapon, Christianity also became a source of strength and resistance. Enslaved Africans in the Americas reinterpreted the Bible through their own lens, seeing themselves in the Israelites delivered from Egypt and Yahweh Shai as a liberator. See that? See? This is why they didn't want you to read it right. This is why Esau, remember that. Don't you ever forget that. Don't you ever forget that they didn't allow you to read or write, man. Okay. And now they got the audacity to question you on your validity and understanding through the Holy Spirit of the scriptures that you are now reading. Okay. Shame on them. You Christians out here, you white Eurocentric Christians should say fucking nothing to so-called black and brown people when it comes to them and the Bible. Okay, you shouldn't be fucking saying one word to them. Shame on you, disgusting people, man. Because your history on the other side of the coin is the enslaver. Okay, from us being in slavery, you come from the other side of your people enslaving our people, even though it wasn't physically you and I wasn't there. But look how you react to it. Nobody's asking you to cry over it, but just shut the fuck up when we're handling our aspect of it. All right. It says, Revelations 11:8, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually calls Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified, crossed out. Hence why the covering cast. Hence why now they get to throw all this out there. Oh, no, this is him, and his name's Jesus. The letter J wasn't created till 1524. Okay? The letter J wasn't created till 1524. All right? His name's Yahweh Shai. All right? He's a Hebrew Israelite. Okay? But you people think he's fucking from Colorado. You have that's white Eurocentric Christianity. When you look at the Bible and you hold it to America, you see that? You see that? Okay, let's keep going. It says, and they of the people, let me see, where is it? And they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, which is equivalent of 350 years when you go from 1619 to 1969. It's a simple Google. 350 years. And 1969 was the fulfillment that was told to us in the book of Malachi when it said Elijah will come back. Okay, and that's our faith. And that's what we believe. You can believe God's white. I can't believe that God is so-called black. See the bullshit there? You see that? You see how they can just sit here and think that his name's God and his name's Jesus and he looks like this. But then when you come out with and precepts, not emotion, not opinion, but precepts and facts, that's question. That's why we don't have to debate you. We don't have to debate them. And shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves, and they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them. This is why Psalms 83, the crafty counsel, and make merry and shall send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwell on the earth. Here we go. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life, after 350 years of us getting here in 1619, Deuteronomy 28 and 68, right? After 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from Yahweh, their God, our God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, after the Israelites were in bondage, entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. See, so for 350 years, you were in and counting, you've been able to walk around with the authoritarianship, if that's a word. You've been walking around as the authority, as the superior of the Bible, not even allowing us to read or write from the Bible. And then now the spirit of life, okay, prophecy being fulfilled, came into us, put upon us, and now we were able to stand up on our feet from being spiritually dead. Now great fear fell upon who? The elites. See? So they have a problem with you being alive now. Okay, they have a problem with you being alive now. Ain't that something? Ain't that offensive? Okay, so now let's go back. Okay, let me go back. All right, so it says this is a very harmful and complex situation. Colonization and slavery, tool of control. Europe, Edomite powers use Christianity, especially in its Eurocentric form, as a justification for colonization. The transatlantic slave trade and the subjugation of African, indigenous, and other non-European people, doctrine of discovery, papal decrees in the 15th century gave European nations divine right to seize lands inhabited by non-Christians. See that? You see that? It says slavery. Enslaved Africans were often enforced to abandon their ancestral faith and accept a distorted version of Christianity that emphasized obedience to masters, and this is why Jake, okay, because I remember coming in 2016, a lot of Jakes didn't mess with the Bible because they called it the white man's book. But that was his job. His job was to go out and deceive, okay? So it put a bad taste in Jake's mouth when it came to the Bible, because they looked at it as it was Esau. No, he stole it. He stole it like he stole you. Revelations 20 and 3. All right, this is talking about Esau after the fall of the Western Roman Empire. Let me read it quick. Revelations 21. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, this is Yahushai, having the key of the bottomless pit. Remember, the Most High dwelleth in the kingdom of men and set it up over at the bases of men. So the Most High puts up rulers. The Most High sets up kings, okay? It says, and the bottomless pit, which is referring to Europe, and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, the Western Roman Empire, the old serpent, because that's Esau was the serpent in the garden, and the serpent wasn't a literal snake. That word serpent goes back to an enchanter or like a magician, a warlock, a witch. This is what he pushes on you now. Hence why women love calling horoscopes and the stars and 1111. They're all bugged out, okay? They're bugged out because they let Esau get a hold of them. All right. It says that old serpent, which is called the devil and Satan, and bound. Remember Satan, who's transformed himself into an angel of light. Okay. Satan, devil, Satan, devil, devil, Satan. Right. Devil, Satan. Okay. Curse you, spawn of Satan. And it says 1,000 years. Okay. That was what? He was put in the caves. That's why he got the book called the 13th Tribe, because Arthur Koestler, I think his name is. But pretty much he came to the conclusion that if so-called white people were of the 12 tribes, they would have to be the 13th tribe, because there's no way that they're of Jacob. Okay. All right. Now it says, and cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up and set a seal upon him, caveman, that he should deceive the nations no more till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. After that, he must be loosed a little season. And he came out of this, and now he's in this little season deceiving. And he used what to deceive first? The Bible. This is why you had the Renaissance, iconoclasm, things of that nature. See? All right, so let's keep going. Let me see what else I got for you. Okay, look, cultural erasure. See? Turning us into Gentiles, westernizing us, suppression of native religion, loss of identity by associating civilization with whiteness and European Christianity, which, did you know, according to the Bible, that white skin is sin? Let me show you that real quick. Did you know, according to the Bible, white skin is sin? All right. Do you know white skin is sin? Let me show you this real quick. Let's go to Numbers 12 and 10, is it? Let me see. Yep. Numbers 12 and 10, let's start at 9. Miriam was speaking against Moses. So this is why we tell you women, be quiet. Your job is not to be sitting here put in a position of power to dictate what we're doing over here, okay? Numbers 12 and 9. And if the Lord is dealing with you as a sister, you will understand that, because it's about roles, okay? It says, in the anger of the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Shai, was kindled against them, and he departed. It says, and the cloud, the chariot, departed from off the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam became leprosy, white as snow. Okay. And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous. And Aaron said unto Moses, alas, my Lord, I beseech thee, lay not the sin upon us, wherein we have done foolishly and wherein we have sinned. See? So according to the Bible, white skin is a sin. White skin is leprosy. All right. Gotta prove that real quick. So now going back, which my mind is thinking about Hosea 1 and 10, which I believe Apostle Paul quoted this precept as well, which proves he's speaking to the Israelites. Hosea 1 and 10. Watch this. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. So we're not here to number. You shouldn't even be thinking, you shouldn't be trying to count brothers like, okay, I've counted, I believe, 12,000 Judites. No, that's not our job. Okay. We don't know what elect is in the spirit world in comparison to here on earth. Our job is just to seek the Lord while he may be found. Okay. The internet does the heavy lifting. We focus on the elect, but it's the Lord's elect. We just praying that we're also of the elect. It says, and it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, you are not my people. Who told us we weren't the Lord's people? These guys tell us we're not the Lord's people, even to this day. How do you know? How do you know? How do you know you? See, that's what they do. And that's some piece of shit activity. You know, you gotta sit back and realize the offensive questions that Edomites ask you that you are not required to answer. Okay, you know, we deal wisely. All right, we carry ourselves in a humble manner, but we're also not carpets. All right, just because these motherfuckers coming up with 21 questions. Go listen to 50 Cent. You got 21 questions. All right, let me go back. It says loss of identity. See, so we lost our identity here in what you know as America, but this is what was told what would happen to the Israelites. See, it says, ye are not, where it was said unto you, you are not my people. There it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living power. And who told us that? All right. The brothers, the elders, not Esau. Esau's not telling you you're Israelite. He don't want you to tell you. He don't want to tell you that. He's trying to tell you you're not an Israelite. Well, this prophecy is already fulfilled. So try again. See these weak, old 1994 deception doctrine they're still trying to hold on to? You niggas are stuck in the past. Excuse my language, but y'all are just, even Jake, man, a lot of these camps are still stuck in the 90s, man. We're in so-called 2025, you know? It says, by associating civilization with whiteness and European Christianity, colonizers erased languages, names, rituals, and worldviews of colonized people. Eurocentric Jesus, depicting Hamashiach as a white European male, created an image of holiness tied to whiteness, which reinforced racial hierarchy and internalized inferiority among black and brown populations. Look at that. Look at that. See that? See what he did? Okay, so don't tell me that Christianity has not been weaponized against you. Christianity has been weaponized against you. Okay, I might even retitle it that. Christianity has been weaponized against you. But now, okay, you can't harm us. Okay, because now I'm thinking this precept, so I gotta grab it. Let's go to Isaiah 54. Check this out. All right, Isaiah 54 and 17. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment, thou shalt condemn. Thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, B'Shem Rakakwadash, and their righteousness is of me, saith the Lord. See that? So Christianity has been weaponized against you, but that weapon that has been formed against you can now not prosper. All right? That's powerful to me. That is extremely powerful to me. What a beautiful precept. Make me sleep good tonight. Social and political oppression. Church, empire partnership. Missionaries often accompany colonizers, teaching submission to authority and discouraging rebellion against oppressive systems. Racial hierarchy. White supremacy was often cloaked in religion. And let me get this precept because it just popped in my mind. Job 9 and 24. This proves that he's the wicked. The fact that Esau is out here globetrotting proves he's the wicked. Okay. Job 9 and 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? See, so he's left his historical fingerprint at the crime scene. And what has he done? You want to know if Esau's there? If the picture is painted white, so-called white, then yep, Esau was here. Then you look over there and some of the other paintings out so-called white. Yep, Esau was there. See? So he unknowingly, through his supremacy, it's also leaving evidence at the crime scene of who did it. This guy, man, he's a two-time loser in real life. Gender oppression. Let me see here. Resistance, empowerment. Lasting effects today. Colorism and self-image issues. Yep. And now what's another precept just came to mind? Proverbs. This is for you sisters out there and Jake and men. Proverbs is at 3 and 31. Let me see. Proverbs 3 and 31. Envy thou not the oppressor and choose none of his ways. Wait a minute. Oh, I'm going to keep that. I'm going to keep that so I can keep my fuel of hatred alive. Black woman, blonde weave. All right. And this is all the curses. Okay. This is the curses. Okay. And that's the envy of the oppressor. They want to be like, what she say? Becky got that good hair. And then you got the witches like Beyonce that put this shit out there. And then you listen, I'm going to tell you, sister, something. Women are through. So you better thank Yahweh Shema Shai. You got half a mind to be fearing the Lord, because when I observe and watch these women, I could see a fly going one ear and out the other. Ain't nothing up there. Okay. Ain't nothing up there. All right. So don't fall victim to this unnurtured creature, this unstable creature. But that's a precept right there. Envy not the oppressor and choose none of his ways. See? And what is his ways? White Eurocentric Christianity. And this is what he's trying to push on you to this day. And it ain't working. Okay. Hey, if it's of the Most High, you can't overthrow it. It says centuries of whitewashed depictions of divinity still affect how people of color see themselves and their worth. And that's why I've been holding this in the tuck. Look at this. Verse 4. I'm just going to go right to 4. Who opposes and exalteth himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, shewing himself that he is God. You mean to tell me you out there in the world of Christianity, okay, you mean to tell me that this don't apply to Esau right now? And then if you got so many demons on you, know that, no, that's you. You're doing that. All right, man, I'm not gonna, we got nothing to talk about. If you can't see this, if the Lord is not opening your eyes to say, damn, like when I first came in, when I was allowed to come in, my reaction was, that's in the Bible? So when I heard men teaching say these statements and then they backed it up with precepts, that was amazing to me. And that's a blessing because we're allowed to receive this truth. Remember, it says, not all Israel is going to be able to receive the spirit of truth. Okay, let me get that. Let's actually put it right here. It's in John. Spirit, I think it's John 14. Look at this. Spirit of truth. Wait, you mean to tell me there's an in particular spirit specifically of truth? Yep. And guess what? Not every Israelite can receive it. See? Look, John 14:17. Even the spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive. The world of who? The world of Israel. Even the spirit of truth, who the world cannot receive, because it seeth him not, neither knoweth him, but ye know him, for he dwelleth with you and shall be in you. That means Yahweh is with us. The fact that we can receive this truth, that means Yahweh Shai is within us. Man, that makes me feel good, man. That's a blessing. The water Abanawa Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakwadash. Division amongst black and brown people, which that's Deuteronomy 28:54, the evil eye towards thy brother, but they don't understand that. Missionary Christians often taught colonized people to reject their roots, causing generational divides. And so he caused, that's discord. The Most High hates that. Wait a minute, you're sowing discord, man. All right, Discord ain't no platform to stream on. I'm talking about discord amongst a brotherhood. Let's go to Proverbs 6. This is something the Lord hates. How are you causing discord between brothers, between people? These 6 things does the Lord Yahweh Bashim Shai hate. Even 7 are abomination unto him. A proud look, Edomite. A lying tongue, Edomite. And hands that shed innocent blood, Edomite. And a heart that devises wicked imaginations, Edomites. Feet that are be swift, running into mischief, Edomites. Feet running to swiftness. Better be careful. The Lord might send gout upon you. You know, it says, a false witness that speaketh lie, and he that soweth discord among brethren. This is what Christianity has done to you. Notice how I'm going into the Bible to rebuke the tenets of Christianity that you believe are truth today. Christianity has been weaponized against you. Let's see. Many today are reclaiming original African and indigenous spiritualities, blah, blah, blah. Okay, the point has been made, okay? Christianity has been weaponized against you. Like I said, I might change it to that, but I made my points. Let me actually get this one. It's a good one down here. See, now he's been revealed in his time, okay? Let me see, right here, verse 8. And then shall that wicked be revealed, Esau, Edom, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth. This is why we're able to speak now, and to destroy with the brightness of his coming, which ultimately Esau, Edom, and America will be destroyed in the next world war. I don't know how you out there in the world of Christianity view prophecy, but according to the Bible and prophecy, this next third world war, which is upon us, this third world woe, okay, Edomites, America, Amalek, and the land of Israel will be destroyed through the destruction. All right, through the destruction after the mandatory marking of the MOTB, which is the RFID NFC technology, see it put inside you. All right. So I pray that this lesson was comforting and exhorting. And I just want to say, call Allah, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Double honors to my millstone that do well. Peace and salutations to the Lord's elect. With that being said,